Let's start off with Bichette. Now, I know Bichette's not having a great year. Taking a look at the numbers, he's only hitting .232 with a .282 on base, a .333 slugging, and he's not hitting much better as of late. In his last 7 games, he's only hitting .148. What the heck has happened to Bichette? But the one saving grace are the career numbers. In his career, he's hitting .292 with a .333 on base and a .470 slugging. So we all know what he can do with the bat. But, the way things are going in Toronto this year, maybe a change of scenery can help him out, put him on a contender, kind of rev him up a little bit, get some new voices in his ear, and I think he can get himself back on track. Now, one popular destination has been the Dodgers. Mookie Betts is hurt, but when he comes back, he can play second base, and Bo can be the shortstop. So I definitely could see that happening, but I think there's another team out there that could be a good fit as well, and that is the Cleveland Guardians. They've been rolling with Brayan Rocchio, number 6 prospect from last year, as their shortstop, but he's just not really getting it done offensively as of right now. When it comes to shortstop offensive production, the Guardians are 23rd overall. So if you can get Bo back to what he was doing in the past, then I definitely think this could be an upgrade for the Guardians. So I have a few different trades here. Let's go to the first one. So Bichette going to the Guardians, going to the Blue Jays. We got first round pick from last year, Ralphie Velasquez, along with George Valera and Alexander Clemmie. So taking a look here, Ralphie Velasquez, this is a big dude, good hitting first base prospect. He's 6'3", over 200 pounds, a 55 hit and a 55 power. This is a guy that could definitely give you some good offensive production down the road. And we also have another couple of prospects here. We got George Valera. This guy, a lot of people were high on George Valera not too long ago, but he's been having a lot of injuries in the minor leagues. This is a guy with a good power tool at 55. He's a decent athlete as well. Go back to 2021. He had a 910 OPS, 2022 and 816. He's not terrible this year, but you could definitely do a lot more here. He only has a 712 OPS. So I think there could still be some upside with Valera. Maybe a change of scenery could be good for him as well. Then we got Alex Clemmie, left-handed pitching prospect, not having a great season in the minor leagues this year, but he's got a big fastball, good curveball as well. Has trouble throwing strikes, but a lot of projection with him. He's 6'6", so this could be a pretty decent pitching prospect for the Blue Jays to add here. But I also have a couple more trades here. If you didn't want to do Ralphie Velasquez, maybe you could do Kyle Manzardo instead. This is a major league ready first baseman that can go right into the Blue Jays lineup right now. I know the Blue Jays have another first baseman. I'll get to that in just a second. But Kyle Manzardo, this could be the long-term option for you at first base. And then we also got Valera and Clemmie in here as well. Another route maybe you could go here. Maybe you can just do a 1-for-1 swap. Bichette going to the Guardians and Brayan Rocchio going to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays could have themselves a cost-controlled shortstop for the next several years, 5 to 6 years. This could be the guy you just plug into your lineup, see if maybe you can get more offensively out of him. And then the Guardians get Bichette. They'll have him for next year as well. He's on a pretty cheap contract. So maybe you could do something like this. And one other wrinkle I want to throw in here, if the Guardians were to give up Brayan Rocchio, who could be a long-term option at shortstop, well, I'm just saying, the Guardians have the number 1 pick in the draft coming up soon, and there is a guy by the name of J.J. Weatherholt who could play shortstop. Maybe that could end up being your long-term shortstop. We'll see. And then, same goes for these other options here, at first base. If you give up Kyle Manzardo or Ralphie Velasquez, there is a guy by the name of Jack Caglione who can play some first base. I'm just saying here. So I think the Guardians, especially with this draft coming up where you can add prospects back in, especially close to major league ready prospects, especially with a lot of these college guys that you can get with the first pick, I think the Guardians could do something here. I think it's an interesting wrinkle with this draft coming up. But like I said with the Blue Jays, if you were to add someone like Manzardo or Ralphie Velasquez, well, what do you do with Vlad Jr.? Let's go talk about that one. So while Bichette's been solid over the last couple of years, but having a down season this year, Vlad Jr. has been the opposite, where the last couple of seasons have been pretty down for him, but this year he's posting some great numbers. So far, hitting .289 with a .370 on base and a .447 slugging. This was a lot lower not too long ago, but he's been red hot over the last month. Over the last 30 games, he's hitting .292 with a .346 on base and a .500 slugging. He's slugging .875 over his last 7 games, so it seems like like Vlad Jr.'s back to doing what he was doing just a few years ago. Now, with Vlad Jr., same situation as Bo Bichette, has one more year of control before he hits free agency. But the difference with Vlad and Bo is that Bo plays a high value position at shortstop, while Vlad plays a lower value position at first base. So when it comes to the trade value, Bo Bichette is simply going to be more expensive because he plays that higher value position, while first base, not so much. You are still going to have to give up a little bit for Vlad, but not as much as Bo Bichette. I do think there's one team out there that would be a perfect fit for Vlad Jr. They've been in the rumor mill lately with Vlad Jr., and that's the Houston Astros. The Jose Abreu experiment completely fell flat on its face. You could argue probably the worst signing ever in Astros history, and I think this is a good chance to offer my apologies to Astros fans out there. I thought they were done, put the nail in the coffin, but here are the Astros as of late, roaring back. They're red hot lately. So as an olive branch, I'm going to offer a buying trade here for the Astros, where not too long ago I was thinking they should sell. Who knows? Maybe they get cold again, and maybe we can get back to that conversation. But with the way they're playing as of late, it's looking like, hey, you know what? Maybe let's add something here. And could you imagine this offense with Vlad Jr., the way he's hitting lately? Oh, Yordan Alvarez and Vlad Jr. in the middle of the lineup? Are you kidding me? Now, with the Astros, I think they can get it done. Like I said, with Vlad, it's not going to cost as much as Bo to get a deal done, and I think the Astros have the prospect capital to get it done here. So Vlad Jr. going to the Astros. Back to the Blue Jays, we got shortstop prospect Bryce Matthews, first-round pick last year, and Jose Fleury. Now, Bryce Matthews, this would be, a tough one to swallow. As of right now, he is their number 3 prospect. Very athletic guy, has a 60-run tool, has good pop there, a 55 power. And he's having a good season so far this year, hitting .316 with a .964 OPS. So if the Blue Jays were to trade Bo Bichette, this could be your future shortstop right here. This would be a great addition to the organization. And one more thing to add with Bryce Matthews is you already have Jeremy Pena there in Houston, so he's blocked at shortstop, and some people think he could play center field. He has the athleticism for it, but you also got your number 1 prospect, Jacob Melton, center fielder. So, I think Bryce Matthews is pretty blocked here, but he could be a great piece to bring back Vlad Jr. to really solidify that lineup for this coming year. So overall, I think this would be a pretty solid trade for both sides. If not Bryce Matthews, if you wanted to hang on to him, maybe you could do Zach DeZenzo instead. He's been playing a lot of first base lately, having himself a good year in the minor leagues, hitting .313 with an .835 OPS. So either way, I think the Astros in the top 10, they got some flexibility to get a deal done for Vlad Jr. That would be an awesome addition for the Astros lineup. Howdy everyone, just want to shout out today's partner for this video, and that's Sorare. So I've played fantasy baseball for years, and in my opinion, Sorare is one of the most fun ways to play. Usually with fantasy baseball, you draft your team at the beginning of the year, and then you adjust your lineup each day. Sometimes that can be a little hard to keep up with. You forget to set your lineup one day, and then that can end up costing you the entire week. But what I like about Sorare is you only have to adjust your lineup twice per week. They have competitions from Monday to Thursday, and then from Friday to Sunday. So when you sign up for Sorare, which is completely free, you get to draft your team with digital cards. That's what makes up your team in Sorare. And then the more you win and the more cards you will earn. You can also go to the marketplace and purchase cards if you would like. So real quick, let's go see how my team did last week. So here's my lineup for last week. Unfortunately, Bryce Harper just got hurt, but he had a massive week before that. He put up 75 points for me, and then I also got good starts from Corbin Burns and Tanner Houck. Jordan Westberg also had a pretty solid week, put up 24 points. I ended up finishing in the second tier. I finished in 4,512th place. That's in the top 50%, so I'll take it. I did get a couple of rewards here. So to set your lineup, you just go to the home page, you click right here, and then you have all the dates at the top. So everyone, please go check out Sorare. They've been an awesome partner for us. It's completely free to sign up. You don't have to pay one dime to sign up. The link is down below in the description. You got some cool events with Sorare coming up this summer, so make sure you check those out after you sign up. Again, it's completely free. But with that said, let's get back to the video. Let's get away from the Blue Jays, but let's stay in the AL East and talk about the Yankees. They've had a great year so far, but they're not playing great baseball as of late. 2-8 in their last 10. They've lost 4 straight at the time of this recording, but this is a really good team. I think they'll get themselves back on track. I think they need an upgrade in the bullpen, though. If we take a look at Caleb Ferguson, a lefty they acquired from the Dodgers in the offseason, he's just not getting it done. ERA near a 6 at 5.84. I think they could use a lefty upgrade in this bullpen, and Tanner Scott would be an amazing addition for this bullpen. The Marlins are going to be clear sellers. Tanner Scott is definitely going to get traded. I think the Yankees would be an awesome fit for him. ERA at a 1.54, FIP at a 3.82. Strikeouts are a little down this year. The walks are a bit up, but this is a guy with good velocity, good stuff. He has 11 saves so far this year. I think this would be an awesome addition for the Yankees. So I have a couple of trades here. Let's go to the first one. So Tanner Scott going to the Yankees, and back to the Marlins. We got Brock Selvage, their number 10 prospect. This is a pretty good pitching prospect, and we've seen what the Marlins have done with pitching prospects. They could really get a lot out of this guy, I think. Now, look at the grades here. A 55 fastball, 55 slider, a cutter as well, graded at a 60, and throws a lot of strikes. He has a 55 control. This would be an awesome addition. I'm thinking there's going to be a pretty busy market for Tanner Scott, so I could see a team maybe having to overpay. So I could see a situation like this where you got to give up a pretty decent prospect to get someone like that. Maybe it won't take that much to get it done. Maybe you could do something like this. Tanner Scott to the Yankees, and back to the Marlins. We got Clayton Beeter and Tyler Hardman. Clayton Beeter, remember they got him not too long ago in the Joey Gallo trade from the Dodgers. Pretty decent pitching prospect. Maybe the Marlins can get even more out of him. And Tyler Hardman, a guy with some power at third base. That could be a nice bat for the Marlins to add. Either way, Tanner Scott, I think, would be an awesome move for the Yankees as they pursue a championship this year. Earlier, I mentioned maybe Bo Bichette could use a change of scenery, but how about Randy Arozarena? What the heck happened to this guy? He's been one of the better players in Major League Baseball for a while now, but his numbers have completely tanked. He's only hitting 189, a 303 on base, a 344 slugging, a 94 WRC+. He still has some pop, 10 home runs, and some speed, 10 stolen bases, but these numbers have completely tanked. However, I think there's a team out there that could be a pretty good fit for him to help him get back on track, get some new voices in his ear, and that's a team that lost a superstar outfielder in the beginning of the year, and that's the Atlanta Braves. They lost Ronald Acuna Jr. They're rolling with Forrest Wall in left field as of right now. I think they could be a good team for Randy Arozarena. Now, they could use some more production out here in left field. They're 25th overall in WRC+ when it comes to left field production. So, yeah, maybe Arozarena get himself turned around with Atlanta and really give that lineup a bit of a boost. It reminds me of Jorge Soler back in 2021. Remember when they traded for him from the Royals? He ended up getting World Series MVP en route to their championship that year. But remember with Jorge Soler, when he was on the Royals that year, he was not having a good season. He was only hitting 192, a 288 on base, a 370 slugging, a 77 WRC+. Still had some pop, 13 home runs for them. But when he went to the Braves, everything got better. He hit 269, a 358 on base, a 524 slugging, a 133 WRC+ over the 55 games. And like I said, he got the World Series MVP. And one more thing to mention with Arozarena, there is some control there. You're going to have him for this season as well as 2 more years after that before he hits free agency. But because of the numbers he's posting this year, the value has really gone down, which I think could help in the Braves' favor because their farm system is a little on the thinner side. But I think they got some prospects to get a deal done for Arozarena here. So here's the deal that I got. We got Arozarena going to Atlanta, and going back to the Rays, we got J.R. Ritchie as well as Jesse Franklin. Now, J.R. Ritchie is the number 4 prospect at the moment. Had Tommy John not too long ago, but he's back now. This is a guy that could be a really good addition for the Rays organization. They've done great with pitchers. Remember, they got Ryan Pepio from the Dodgers. He's doing pretty solid this year. J.R. Ritchie could be another really good arm for them down the road. Good fastball, 55 grade, has a 60 slider to go along with it. Also has a curveball and a changeup. Good repertoire there. I think J.R. Ritchie could be a really solid pitcher down the road. And then we got Jesse Franklin here. A pretty athletic outfielder. The Rays, they've preferred athletes in the past, so his guy has a good run tool at 55. 2.5. Not a whole lot with the hit tool, has a little bit of pop, but overall we could see maybe some better numbers here. Only has a 734 OPS. We have seen the Rays get more out of guys in the past, so maybe you could start a deal here. I think you could maybe add one more piece to this to get it done, but I think the Braves have that flexibility to be able to get something done if they wanted to. Arozarena, I think if you get him back on track, could really solidify that lineup. If you didn't want to go with Arozarena, maybe you can go with someone like Taylor Ward. Either way, I think the Braves should add something for this outfield. Taylor Ward having himself a pretty solid year overall, hitting 242, has a slugging of 442, a 116 WRC plus. I think this could be a nice addition. Maybe a trade here. You could do J.R. Ritchie to the Angels, along with a couple more prospects. We got Giancarlos Lara, another pitching prospect, and Luis Guanipa. Taking a look at where these guys rank. So we got Luis Guanipa. He is the number 9 prospect, really far away. International signing from not too long ago. And there's also Giancarlos Lara here. He is the number 13 prospect in their system at this point. So you're getting J.R. Ritchie, a couple of guys that are pretty far away. If not those guys, maybe you could throw in a couple of these other ones near the top here. But either way, I think they could get a deal done for either Arozarena or Taylor Ward. I think they could use one more bat in that lineup, especially after losing Ronald Acuna Jr. Last but not least, let's do a fun one. Let's do a blockbuster for Mason Miller. Mason Miller has been absolutely disgusting this year. Take a look at the numbers. 35 2/3 innings, an ERA of 2.02, a FIP of 1.87. He already has a Fangraph wins above replacement at 1.5 coming out of the bullpen, and we're halfway through the year. That is incredible. Strikeouts per 9 at 15.6, right around 3 walks per 9, averaging around 100 miles per hour. This guy has just been absolutely nasty. Now, we all know the position the Oakland A's are in. They were looking fun at the beginning of the year, but it's probably looking like they're going to look to sell off some pieces. Now, they could definitely hang on to Mason Miller. You got to remember, last year he had some elbow issues, but the A's are easing him back in this year, having him pitch out of the bullpen. He definitely can be a starter down the road. So when you combine that, along with the fact, with the numbers that he's putting up, with the amount of control he has, he's not a free agent until 2030, and he's in arbitration, so he's not really making all that much money. When you combine all of those factors, he's going to be very expensive. If he was a starter right now, he would be so much more expensive than he is. But, for just being a reliever, he's still going to cost quite a lot. And a team out there that I think should pull the trigger, they need a checkmate kind of a move, make a move like this for the back end of the bullpen. We got the Philadelphia Phillies. This team has been so good this year. They got championship aspirations. Now, for the bullpen, it's been a really good bullpen this year, but man, if you wanted to add one more weapon for this bullpen, Mason Miller, in my opinion, would be a great addition. A Pennsylvania native as well. That would be just a fun fit right there. But Jose Alvarado, he has been solid this year. But man, if you can add Miller to this mix and then you'd have him for the next several years, I think this would be a great addition. Like I said, it's going to cost a lot to get it done. But I think the Phillies can get it done if they really wanted to. So here's the trade. It's a blockbuster. It's a doozy. We got Mason Miller going to the Phillies, and back to the A's, we got Aiden Miller leading the package. We got Mick Abel. We also got Eduardo Tate, catching prospect, as well as Gabriel Rincones, an outfield prospect. Now, Aiden Miller is their number 2. Mick Abel is the number 3. Now, Aiden Miller, this is a fun prospect to keep an eye on. He was drafted last year, number 27 overall. 50 hit tool, 60 power tool, has a good arm. Probably going to be a power hitting third baseman down the road, having a good season so far, hitting 256 with an 831 OPS. Still only 20 years old. This would be an amazing addition for the Oakland A's and their future. And you could say Aiden Miller is a bit blocked with the Phillies, right? You got Alec Boehm at third base. He could play short, but you got Trey Turner there. So I think Aiden Miller is someone that could be expendable. And I think if you're able to get someone like Mason Miller, I think that could be worth it. Now, also going back to the A's here would be a pitcher, Mick Abel. This is a guy that was drafted in the first round back in 2020. He just hasn't been able to fully figure it out. A lot of projection with him, though. A big frame, 6'5". He has really good velocity, really good stuff. A 65 fastball, 55 on the curve, 55 slider, has a changeup as well. His problem is he just can't throw a lot of strikes. The control hasn't been there. The numbers are not looking good so far this year. 12 starts, ERA at a 7. But if you can put him in the right organization that can, just develop him better than what the Phillies are doing. I don't know. It's just not working out with the Phillies. It just doesn't sound like a good fit overall. I think Mick Abel, you could definitely unlock something. Maybe Oakland can do something there with him. And then we got a couple of more prospects here. Eduardo Tate, a catching prospect. I know the A's, they have Shea Langeliers, but Eduardo Tate, he's very far away, very young catcher. So that's someone that you can just stash away in your system. It never hurts to add catchers to your system. And then we got Gabriel Rincones. In my opinion, I think a pretty underrated prospect. He is number 9 overall in their system. Having a good year. He's hitting 300, OPS above 1,000, a guy with some pop, a lefty bat with some pop. So I think this would be a nice addition there for the A's. Either way, I think the Phillies could absolutely get something done if they really wanted to. I think you would have to part with Aiden Miller. Maybe you could do something with Justin Crawford. I don't think they're going to part with Andrew Painter. I think he's completely off limits, but I could see something like this working out. If the Phillies got Mason Miller, that would be incredible. But let me know what you think. Let me know your trades down below. Give me your thoughts on the trades that I proposed here. I guarantee I'm going to get a bunch of comments saying, oh, these are awful. These are the worst trades I've ever seen. Instead, I challenge you to post your own trades. I would love to see your trade proposals down below in the comments. But everyone, that's all I got for this video. If you can on the way out, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.